Have you ever told everyone about a goal you wanted to achieve? Did you notice what happened next? Sometimes when we talk too much about our plans, they become harder to accomplish. Once upon a time in a small village, there lived a young archer named John Myers. He had incredible talent with the bow. Every time a tournament approached, he would tell everyone in the market how he would win. One day he promised to hit the bullseye blindfolded. The next week he boasted about becoming the village champion. John was naturally gifted. From a young age, he could hit targets that older archers missed. His arrows flew straight and true during practice. Everyone in the village knew about his talent. They called him the Golden Archer and said he was destined for greatness. But John had a habit that nobody thought was a problem. Before every competition, he would go to the market square and talk about his upcoming victory. He would describe in detail how he would win. He would tell people exactly which techniques he would use. He would paint a picture of himself standing on the winner's platform, holding the trophy high. The villagers loved hearing him talk. They would gather around him in large groups. They clapped and cheered. They told him he was amazing. They said nobody could beat him. This attention made John feel wonderful. His chest would swell with pride. He felt like a champion even before the tournament began. But something very strange happened every single time. When the actual tournament day arrived, John's performance was terrible. He would stand at the shooting line feeling tired and unmotivated. The sharp focus he had during practice was completely gone. His arms felt heavy. His mind wandered to other things. The hunger and desire to prove himself had disappeared. He would shoot his arrows, and they would miss the target badly. Sometimes they missed by inches. Sometimes they missed by feet. The crowd that had cheered for him in the market would watch in silence, disappointed. John would walk away feeling confused and ashamed. This pattern repeated 3 times. 3 tournaments, 3 failures. John couldn't understand what was happening to him. He knew he had the skill. He practiced more hours than any other archer in the village. During his private practice sessions, he never missed. His technique was perfect. Yet, when it mattered most, in front of judges and crowds, he failed every time. After his 3rd tournament loss, John felt deeply ashamed. He couldn't face the villagers who had believed in him. He walked away from the competition grounds and wandered into the forest. He needed to be alone with his thoughts. On a quiet path surrounded by trees, John found Master Kalen. The old monk was sitting peacefully on a rock, enjoying the afternoon sun. Master Kalen was well known in the village for his wisdom. People came to him when they had problems they couldn't solve. John sat down near the monk and told him everything. He explained his talent, his practice routine, his tournament failures. He described the confusion he felt. He asked Master Kalen why someone with so much skill kept failing. Master Kalen listened quietly. When John finished talking, the monk asked a simple question. What do you do in the days before each tournament? John thought about it. He said he practiced every day. He checked his equipment. He made sure his bow was in perfect condition. He selected his best arrows. No, Master Kalen said gently. I'm not asking about your physical preparation. I'm asking what you tell people. John paused. He realized what the monk meant. Well, he said slowly, I tell everyone I'm going to win. I describe exactly how I'll do it. I talk about my victory in detail. And how does that make you feel? The monk asked. It makes me feel wonderful. John admitted, people gather around me. They praise me. They tell me I'm destined for greatness. It feels like I've already won. Master Kalen nodded. That's your problem, he said. The monk reached into his robe and pulled out 2 small seeds. They looked identical. He showed them to John and said he would demonstrate something important. Master Kalen knelt down and dug a small hole in the dark soil beside the path. He placed the first seed inside, covered with earth, and patted it down. "This seed," he said, "will grow in complete silence. Nobody knows it exists here. Nobody will check on it or talk about it. It will use all its energy to drink from the soil, push down roots, and grow upward toward the sun. Because it works in darkness and silence, it will become strong." Then the monk placed a second seed on a flat rock in plain view. "This seed," he continued, "everyone can see. It sits here in the open where anyone walking by will notice it. But what will happen to it? The sun will dry it out. Birds will come and steal it. People might step on it. It will never grow into anything because it's exposed too early." Master Kalen looked at John with serious eyes. "Your dreams and goals are exactly like these two seeds. When you talk about them too early, when you announce them to everyone before you've done the work, you're like the seed on the rock. You waste the energy you need for action." The monk explained further. "When you tell people about your plans, something happens in your brain. Your brain is easily fooled. It hears the applause and praise, and it thinks you've already succeeded. It gives you the reward feeling without you actually doing anything. So when tournament day comes, your brain has no reason to fight anymore. The energy for action has been wasted in words." John sat quietly, absorbing this wisdom. Everything suddenly made sense. Every time he bragged about winning, his mind created a false reality where he had already won. The applause in the market square gave him the same good feelings that actually winning would give him. So when the real competition arrived, there was nothing left to fight for. His motivation was already spent. "What should I do?" John asked. "Work in silence," Master Kalen said simply. "Be like the seed in dark soil. Tell nobody about your plans. Keep your goals private. Let all your energy go into the actual work, not into words about the work." John thanked the monk and went home. He made a firm decision. He would tell absolutely no one about the next tournament. For the following weeks, John trained harder than ever before, but this time in complete silence. When people in the market asked if he would compete in the upcoming festival tournament, he simply smiled and said he wasn't sure. When they asked if he thought he could win, he changed the subject. When friends tried to get him to talk about his archery, he politely declined. This felt very uncomfortable at first. John missed the attention. He missed the applause. He missed hearing people tell him he was destined for greatness. But he followed Master Kalen's advice and stayed silent. Something interesting began to happen. Without the false feeling of success from people's praise, John stayed hungry. His motivation remained strong week after week. Every practice session felt urgent and important because his brain knew the work wasn't finished yet. There was no premature reward, so the desire to achieve the real thing kept burning inside him. The day of the final tournament arrived. John walked to the competition grounds quietly. He didn't make any announcements. He didn't promise victory to anyone. He simply picked up his bow and waited for his turn. When the judge called his name, John stepped forward. His mind was perfectly clear. His arms felt light and powerful. The target seemed to shine in front of him. He drew his bow back, focused on the center of the bullseye, and released the arrow. The arrow flew straight and true. It hit the exact center of the target with a solid thunk. Perfect shot. The crowd erupted in cheers. But this time, the applause felt completely different to John. It wasn't for empty words or big promises. It was for something he had actually accomplished. This was real pride, the kind that comes from doing difficult work in silence and letting the results speak for themselves. After the tournament, John went back to visit Master Kalen on the forest path. He thanked the monk for the wisdom. Master Kalen smiled and said, "Remember this lesson for your whole life, John. The world doesn't need to know what you're building. It only needs to see what you've built. A seed grows in darkness. A fire burns quietly before it becomes a blaze. Real success happens in silence. When you work without announcing your plans, you keep all your energy for the actual work. And when you finally achieve your goal, the victory is real, not imagined. John never forgot this lesson. From that day forward, he kept his goals private. He worked in silence. He let his actions speak louder than his words. And he became the greatest archer the village had ever known. The lesson is simple but powerful. Never tell your plans. Talk less, do more, and let your results speak for you. If you enjoyed John's story, subscribe to English Story Tales for more simple stories with powerful lessons. New stories every day. See you in the next one.